Hello and welcome to another episode of Modular in a Week. Today we're gonna make hi-hats, as you can hear in the background. And this is one of it has been used quite a lot and was very widespread on the internet. It's called a Tiny Dazzler hi-hat made by a Magic Pulse Wave. But, and this is what I said in the last episode or in the last video, that all the schematics to his designs were on a web service called TinyPic, which apparently didn't make enough money, so it was shut down like 2 weeks before I was, or 1 week, something like really close to when I wanted to make this circuit. So I was in contact with a Magic Pulse Wave, and I got a few other schematics from him, and this one as well. And also thanks to Nic Csonka, who actually gave me the schematics that I actually was looking for. So we're gonna do that, and as a bonus I want to do some of those circuits that a Magic Pulse Wave sent to me. One called Smurf Drum. Sounds really interesting, so we're at the end we're gonna make that one as well if we have the time, just to see what that sounds like, because I mean, Smurf Drum, you gotta have a Smurf drum in your modular. But today we're gonna make the hi-hat and also snare. It can be used for both those things depending on the filter in the circuit. It's made and he also told me that he made it out of 3 different things that he just put together to make this one, and that is really good to know, because that way we can look at the schematics and see the different modules that it is made up of, which is interesting. I think I like that. When I started this, as the previous video showed, I did not know that much about building modulars, and I did a too small power supply apparently. But now when I see a circuit, I can actually see the different parts of that, and I think that's a really good learning curve that you get by accident, I guess. You want a modular, and you get knowledge. That's great. So I hope that some of you also feel that way, if you didn't already know all that when you started building these modulars. So anyway, let's go and look at the schematics and a few things we can alter on this to make it even cooler and build one. So here's the circuit we're going to build, and he even says here that this is adapted from standard noise generator, simple percussive envelope generator, and a Roland DR110 percussion VCA. So the envelope generator, or the DK circuit, is this one up here, where you have the trig in and the decay pot here. We're going to exchange this to a 100K pot, because that's enough, at least in the trials I've done. It then goes on to here, and here we only have the LED indicator and the output, and then down here this is the VCA circuit. This one is probably just a filter cap from the noise module, which is this one here. So this is the noise, this is the envelope, and this is the VCA. So these are the 3 parts in rough terms, I guess, that this one is made up of. So I'm just gonna build this up on Breadboard first, just to make sure that it works like I'd like it to. And as usual in the last episodes, I don't have the front panel yet, but here's the design that I have in mind, with the two voices on top of each other and getting all those jacks in there in 4 HP. Here we have the circuit that I just showed, built on breadboard just to make sure it works. So here's the decay circuit. And it works fine. I've exchanged it for an logarithmic 100K potentiometer. So we get a bit more control, because all the things happen in the first couple of Ks. It then goes over to the VCA over here. No, sorry, it goes over to the VCA over here, where we also have the cap, the different caps for what kind of sound I didn't have. So this is the hi-hat sound, and I didn't have a 680 picofarads, so I took one 470 and one 220 picofarad and put them in parallel again, as we did with the capacitors in the last video, and that adds them together so you get around 680. And I really like this sound. And then the noise circuit is over here. So and then over here I just want to show I've built the snare, the same circuit but with the snare capacitors, and it sounds like this. So very, not very snare-like, but very crunchy. So this is actually not the sound that I'm that fond of, but I built it now, so I might as well keep it. And then I'll build the hi-hat circuit on this side, and I'm gonna see if I can use the same noise source for both. I hope I can do that. So if I can't, I'll just have to build one of those as well. But one thing that I did try here, if we go back to the hi-hat, is that what we can do is use a Vectral. So this is half a Vectral, this is a photoresistor. So if we, instead of that, put a Vectral in here, we can do some, and we add a input for decay. We can do some funky little open and closed hi-hat. Open hi-hat, closed hi-hat. I've baked some new Vectrals here that I'm going to add as well to this circuit, and add another jack for decay CV gate input, and we'll see what we can, how interesting that will be. So I'm gonna finish this one, and then we can listen to it in its full potential. Alright, new interesting things here. As far as I can tell, I'm using, what I've done is I've built this circuit here and using the same noise source as the other one right now. And so this is this one. Very nice thin hi-hat and nice decay. This one is also very crackling. This is technically, this is the same circuit, these two, and it sounds so different. And so now I'm thinking that the noise source is really crucial for this, and probably this, not like if it could be the transistors, depending on how the transistors are, they sound different. So I'm gonna take, this is just with, I just put the connection like this, so I can easily switch from that one, and I can switch in this one instead. So let's do that. There's a long DuPont cable. Take that one, and we get the signal here, right there. Yes, much nicer. Okay, so there's something not very nice in that noise circuit on that one then. And by not nice, I mean it's very crackling. Maybe a switch, and we make another one, and we make one of these components so we know it will be a nice noise circuit, and then maybe a switch so we can switch between the noisy noise and the clean noise, so to speak. Let's try that. I'd like to do one more thing. I just have a probe here so I can listen to the noise of each of them. This should be a really nice noise. Yeah, it's quite nice. And then we should listen to this one over here, which probably isn't that nice then. Oh, it's way lower. It's filtered really low. That is interesting. What did I do different? Or what is different? Alright, so we have this connected now with just some spare panels I had lying around. We're listening to the hi-hat with a nice functioning noise circuit now, and here we have it with a very crispy one. So let's keep it on this one, and we're listening to also the, so this is what it sounds like really. And then we can add the Vectral extra accent, or what we'll call it, and then we get this effect. So let's see if we can add some of the other one, the snare kind of drum as well. And this is the crispy noise. Yeah, I haven't gotten these two to work yet, so I guess we'll just have to live with. So I'd say I got a good hi-hat out of this one. That was the main plan. The snare right now, not so good. And things that I have learned today is that the noise source is really important and apparently very sensitive to which transistors you're using. I tried to put a few other transistors on that breadboard thing, and they also sounded bad. So, and this gives me hope that maybe the bass high, the first drum module we did, maybe have this same problem, that is just a bad noise source. So I need to check that out. And maybe I could fix the noise source in this one, the first one, and also so the switches didn't work that well. I also added a Vactrol to get a more open, or two kinds of sound, or an accent if you'd like, or open and closed hi-hat, which I think is a really cool way to get progression in the sound. And all the drums you've heard and the open and closed hi-hat is just done with the Logic gates and inverters and the clock divider. So these three modules is all the rhythms that you've heard in here. So I'll try to make this, try to fix the schematics for this one, because I did quite a few alterations, and upload that. Thanks again to A Magic Pulse Wave for sending me these. Also thanks to Nic Csonka, who sent me the schematics as well. And as always, thank you to all my Patreons who support me over on Patreon to make these videos. And you can too, if you'd like. If not, you can go over to Patreon and look at some of the free content that is still there for anyone. Hope that if you want a hi-hat, you can build this one. I think it's a really good one with a nice noise source, and the Vactrol, it sounds really nice. One more thing I might do is I might add a amplifier, because the sound is quite low compared to all the other sounds. So maybe I'd like to up that a bit. Other than that, it's fine. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.